Maximum extension of elbow and wrist with maximum external rotation. Bring the arms down and bring them up overhead so that they are parallel to one another and pressing in the same direction as the crown of the head. And while we are resting, let's continue with our exercise demonstration for exercises to help with spinal decompression. And right now, I'm going to be demonstrating the T1-T2 ELDOA. The purpose of this exercise is to create space between the T1-T2 vertebra. And if you have any type of compression at the T1 nerve root, this can affect hand abduction and adduction. If you have any compression at the T2 nerve root, this can affect things like extension of the spine, rotation of the spine, lateral flexion of the spine, and also it could affect elevation and depression of the rib cage. With regard to the nerve plexus that's going to be involved, it can affect the brachial plexus, specifically the inferior portion of the trunk. And the nerves that can be affected can be the radial nerve, the median nerve, the ulnar nerve, and the medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm. With regard to how this can manifest as weakness in your spinal extensors, rotators, and lateral flexors. And you may experience pain or paresthesia in the ulnar surface of the forearm, the superior pectoralis area, and also the medial upper arm and medial elbow. If you have any of those symptoms, go ahead, give the T1-T2 ELDOA a try. We are going to be in a supine position, and this is a bilateral exercise, meaning we only need to perform it once. With regard to the position, we want to start by taking the hips and knees in flexion just enough that the sacrum lifts up off the ground to the base. So everything but the S1 should be lifted up off the ground. With our ankles, we want to go into dorsiflexion of the ankles by pointing the toes toward our head. We want to go into eversion by pointing the soles of our feet away from our body. And then the coccyx is going to be pushing away from our body. At the pelvis, we want to maintain retroversion of the pelvis or posterior pelvic tilt, a flat lumbar spine, a flat thoracic spine. We want retropulsion of the cervical spine by keeping the chin tucked in. We want our head 1 millimeter off the ground, just enough that you could slide a piece of paper underneath there. With your eyes, you're looking down between your thighs to put the dura mater under tension. And with the crown of your head, you're pushing in the opposite direction of the coccyx. With the arms, we're going to go into maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation. We're going to drop those arms down by our sides and then go into coronal abduction, abduction away from the midline of 180 degrees so that our arms are parallel to one another, and we are going to press our palms away from our body. So just to recap, we got retroversion of the pelvis. We're flexing the hips and knees until everything but the S1 lifts up off the ground. We've got dorsiflexion and eversion of ankles. We've got a flat lumbar, flat thoracic. We got retropulsion of the cervical spine with the chin tucked in. We want the eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. Our head is 1 millimeter off the ground, just enough to lift a piece of paper. The crown of the head is pushing in the opposite direction of the coccyx. Maximum extension of elbow and wrist with maximum external rotation. Bring the arms down and bring them up overhead so that they are parallel to one another and pressing in the same direction as the crown of the head. We are going to maintain that posture for 1 minute, and then we can go ahead and slowly come on out of the posture. If you are experiencing any neurological symptoms or any weakness, pain, or paresthesia in any of the muscles that I mentioned, go ahead, give the T1-T2 ELDOA a try. During the next rest period, I'm going to be demonstrating the T2-T3 ELDOA, but for right now, our rest period is up. It is time for the 10th and final set. That was just a tiny taste of what can be found in my members only section. If you enjoyed it, become a member for only $5 a month to get access to hundreds of member only videos.